So, welcome to Terry Christian.
People always ask me why the North, why do you want to stay up here? I mean, I basically, work in Manchester and live in Manchester, and that's because all the people that I love and care about are up here. Simple as that. It's not a question of geography. I do think there's something special, there's something magical about this city, and also people in the North in general. But I'm sure that that discussion, well, that will be discussed during the course of things. But first of all, let me introduce our distinguished panel tonight. Please welcome John Robb, at the centre of many things cultural. Jon Corner, and he's the director of Media City UK for the university. Joe Hallows, managing director of Yo-Yo Media. Liz Molyneux from the BBC. And finally, an old work colleague of mine, now the Chief Executive Officer of 10 Alps Productions, Alex Connock. One of the main things that we're going to be talking about tonight is what have we got to offer in the North that maybe has been missing over the years in the media. So I'll start with you, Alex, because you worked in London for many, many years. So what is it that the North has got to offer?
I think that there's so many fatuous things said about the Northwest, none of which are true. The argument that you find in the kind of Evening Standard school of coverage of Media City is kind of absurd. Things like, do they have broadband and all that, But actually, the main argument that they always mount is there's no depth of talent in the Northwest. And I think that anybody who studies the history of British television over the last 50 years could not possibly agree with that comment, because actually, a good 50% of all the biggest shows ever made in Britain have actually been made in the Northwest. The point that I always try and make to people is this is regional TV in the sense that it's produced in the region, but it's not provincial. It's TV that has completely global class and global quality.
Liz, the BBC, obviously they've always had a little outpost up here in Manchester, but again, they've always been kind of, very London-based. What are the BBC going to offer? What has the North got to offer the BBC as a whole now?
In order to connect to audiences, in order for audiences to sit down across the UK and in the North and watch things and hear things and log on to things that resonate with their world and reflect what they do and what they are, then they need to have people from those communities making the content. I mean, it's not rocket science, but it's long overdue. So what can we offer here in the North? Well, of course, because I knew I was doing this tonight, I sort of, asked people, and I think the headline is its attitude. There is a sensibility here and a different set of values that allows us to make content that has a distinctive quality and is very different. In my last job, I needed to get commissions for and then make a whole load of panoramas every year, and our panoramas always did really well, and I think that was because we understood what people were talking about, what people wanted to know about, what the essence of story was, more so than if, and I know we're not into knocking London tonight, but more so than if you live in a media bubble that can often be, that centre of what's been the centre of media so far in London.
Joe Hallows, what has the North got to offer?
Oh, talent, passion and humour. And actually, I think certainly in today's society, humour is so key. I mean, look at Coronation Street, a drama that's come out of Manchester. It's comedy, it's honesty, it's a truth and it's an honesty. I look at Brookside that came out of Liverpool, Hollyoaks, another one comes out of Liverpool. It's like there's three big soaps, and also even Emmerdale, which actually is still the north, a bit further north, but nonetheless it's outside London. There's four of the really, really big, long-running dramas that are actually made in the north.
And what are the particular strengths, do you think, of the North?
Well, I think clearly drama. I mean, anyone who watches the TV knows that The Accused last night. I think very successful partnership. Sita Williams and Jimmy McGovern making that fantastic program. The Street before that, the entire lexicon of Jimmy McGovern programs. Announced yesterday was Paul Abbott doing a co-production with Red Productions, another Manchester company. Paul Abbott's also doing a $50 million project in LA at the moment, which is Shameless America, which I've seen, which is incredible. There is fantastic drama talent in the Northwest. Second thing is entertainment. I mean, think of Stars in Their Eyes and all those kind of iconic big Granada shows. It's slightly in abeyance at the moment, but they still do some pretty big shows. Countdown, University Challenge, Question of Sport and so forth. And then finally, factual. It's a massive tradition of factual TV in Manchester. World in Action, loads of documentaries being made at the moment. This is a really serious production base for TV in Britain.
You say TV's in a boom period, but it's actually, compared to what it was 30, 40 years ago, it doesn't have the viewers anymore, because most people under 20 on the internet, aren't they, on social networking, and TV's on the background, most people don't even watch it, do they? Just flickers away like a fire.
The media that we've understood for so long is changing, and there is a new generation coming through, and there's a new industry coming through, which is not just about TV. It's not just about linear TV. Yes, getting a great colorized film is still going to be important, but there are other things happening, and that's what we need to do in terms of being modern and seizing the opportunity in the north.
We were talking about creativity, but some of the most creative people that have ever lived have been mathematicians or scientists. And we're moving into quite an interesting phase in digital technology where those type of skills are suddenly in real demand. Where are we going to get the next generation of these data specialists? Where are we going to get these creative people who can work in the media but can actually control these algorithms? I said maybe from Salford.
Yeah, I was just interested exactly as to when was or is the building going to be completed at Salford, and which BBC departments will be fully installed there?
Okay, well, the buildings are pretty much completed now. There's 3 big buildings that the BBC will occupy. We won't own them, the BBC won't own them, they'll rent them from Peel, and people will start moving in spring of 2011, so pretty damn close now. There will be BBC Sport, the whole of BBC Sport, the whole of 5 Live, the whole of Children's, whole of a big department called BBC Learning, and what I was harping on about before, a big department called Future Media and Technology, so all those creative technologies. Again, as well as all the departments that are in Manchester already, and that is, of course, a religion and ethics department, a big current affairs department, my own department, an entertainment department that makes Dragon's Den, etc., and regional, and a whole load of radio network and regional output as well.
We've got Media City, it's being built, there's some fantastic facilities being there, we just have to be good at what we do. It's up to us to prove what talents we have and actually let the world know.